other developing news, the Judicial Conduct Tribunal into allegations of sexual harassment against Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge has adjourned for the day. High Court Secretary Andiswa Mengo was being grilled by Mbenenge's legal representative just a short while ago. Juniour Khumalo is our reporter monitoring those events. He joins us now live. Junior, possibly one of the most difficult days in this now, 7 days of testimony that began last week, Monday.
Indeed, Michelle, especially for the witness, as you've rightfully put it, she went through a grilling from Advocate Muzi Sikhakhane, who basically was trying to paint a picture that the conversation between the two of them, even though it might have not been consensual from the part of the witness, she had failed to communicate to the Judge President that she was uncomfortable with the conversation itself, and she did not want, it was unwelcome, basically. So that's the picture that was being painted by Advocate Muzi Sikhakhane, starting off basically from the conversation that the witness had with the Judge President initially in June 2021, where the Judge President tried to ascertain whether she was in a relationship. This is when the witness basically communicated the fact that she was going through a divorce. At the time, she was separated from the father of her child, and the Judge President then continued to ask how old she was, and whether she would be keen on an intimate relationship. From there, there seemed to be a build-up of the interactions between the two of them. And despite the witness having been uncomfortable with that conversation, Sikhakhane was painting a picture that there was not any opportunity in the about 4 or 5 times that she felt that the Judge President was being inappropriate, that she communicated this to the Judge President. So an important aspect there from Sikhakhane in that he did not dispute that the Judge President sent most of those messages that the witness has testified that were sent to her. But he also went on to try and paint a picture where the witness herself had left out some of the communication between herself and the Judge President, saying that in omitting to communicate some of these messages to the panel, she was trying to portray herself as the innocent little girl instead of a willing participant in this interaction between the two of them. I use those words because those are the exact words that Muzi Sikhakhane used during his cross-examination, Michelle.
Yeah, certainly. The issue of consent also sort of playing a big part in the kinds of questions the lawyer for the Eastern Cape Judge President put to Andiswa Mengo. And I wonder, Junior, when it is time for the Judge President to take the stand, whether that will also be a big topic, consent, in a case that has such a heavy power imbalance.
Indeed, consent is going to be front and center even when the Judge President himself finally takes to the stand. But also it will be interesting to hear from the Judge President himself what he assumed was going on between the two of them. Because for now we've heard the witness giving her own testimony, as well as Advocate Sikhakhane trying to suggest that there was some level of complicitness from the witness herself. But it will be interesting to hear from the Judge President on whether he thought the witness was also complying to some of those suggestive messages that he was sending. But from our understanding, the Judge President might actually not even take to the stand this week, Michelle. We are understanding that these proceedings might actually have to continue in May of 2025 because there's still a long way to go in the cross-examination that is going to happen by Advocate Muzi Sikhakhane, Michelle.
Sure, and that's because only a certain number of days have been set aside for this inquiry, Junior. And is it taking much longer than was initially thought?
Indeed, the inquiry itself had been set down from the 13th to the 24th, which is Friday this week. But it seems like there is a lot that still needs to be uncovered from the testimonies that have been given. Also, there has been an indication that there were a lot of witnesses, given that the witness, the Secretary of the Eastern Cape High Court, indicated that she informed quite a number of people, including judges that are in that division, in the Eastern Cape Cape High Court Division. So there might also be that need to also ask those individuals to either come physically or provide evidence as well. So it seems like there is a lot more than what was initially anticipated, hence the decision that we understand might be made to continue with the testimony in May, Michelle.
Junior, that I imagine is a situation that is untenable, and I would argue for both parties here to wait months to get any kind of conclusion to what is an incredibly serious matter.
I would assume that the tribunal itself, the chairperson and the two individuals that are assisting him as part of the panel, would have communicated this to the two involved. And given that both of them, I assume, want to get to the bottom of this and they want the right finding from this, they wouldn't mind waiting, although it will be uncomfortable because there is still a lot hanging over their heads. As Advocate Moses Kakane said, either way, whether the finding is that there was some sexual harassment or not, or that the witness may have misled the panel, it is detrimental to both their careers and their dignity and their public standing, basically. So I think they wouldn't mind the panel to take its time in terms of coming to the right conclusion when it comes to this matter. And I assume that they would have been communicated with in terms of the extension, should there be an extension. But we will hear from the panel as it continues this week, Michelle.
And do both parties go back to their jobs, Junior?
That's one of the parts that is still unclear as yet, whether they do at this point go to their respective jobs. I have not heard whether any of them have taken some time off from the job, or has even the judge president himself has been asked for the time being not to continue with these duties. So I think those are some of the things that the panel will itself make clear before it wraps up during this week on Friday, if it is indeed going to continue in May, whether they are going to be excused from doing their duties until such a time as the panel then comes back with its finding. But we did hear the witness indicating that the situation, even before she came to this tribunal, had become difficult for her because a lot of her colleagues were now treating her differently, as well as some of the judges in that division in the Eastern Cape High Court were also now treating her differently. She even indicated that she had lost passion for her job, a passion that she had initially for her work. But given what had unfolded and how she has had basically to put what happened between her and the judge president to the public, she had now lost the passion and the will to continue doing her job, even going to a point where she was now seeking therapy. So it has already become difficult for her to continue with her duties in the Eastern Cape High Court, Michelle.
Juniour Khumalo, thanks very much indeed. Incredibly important question. If this inquiry is postponed or picks up in May after this week, what happens to the jobs of the two parties involved here? Thanks very much indeed for that update.